brothers, Adam Jackson and Vince Matoska Chafin here with a special invitation for you to join us at Relational Training at Liberty Arising in Jacumba, California. At Sacred Sons, we are putting more emphasis on having our leaders trained well, trained to lead the processes that may have drawn you into this work, that may have looked like magic. When you first stepped in, I know in my case, it felt that way. And so if you are interested in joining and learning these key tools and really the foundational trainings for men's work, we're inviting you in. And Uncle, why? Why do you feel called to bring relational training for the brothers of Sacred Sons?
Like you, the first thing that I saw when I came into men's work was this magic stuff happening in front of me. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but whatever that is, I want it, I need it, and I want to master that. And that's what I've been doing since I came into this work, is being a lifelong student and trying to figure out how to master what goes on what we would call the carpet, or what we would call relational work here. And that pathway began here, in learning myself, in learning my gold and my shadows, learning my weaknesses and my strengths, learning how I showed up in the world and how the world reflected back to me how I was showing up in the world. That was a side benefit of going, oh, I want to learn how to do this to help other people. But what I didn't realize was that the whole thing about it was figuring out, oh, here's where my wounds are. Here's where my shadows are. Here's where in groups of people I can feel scared or hurt and triggered. Or when I hear a particular story, I go into my wound and I might retreat. I didn't know that was part of learning how to do the work. So One of the amazing things that I see us offering and in going forward in this relational work is the opportunity to really see themselves, who and how they are, who and how they show up in the world, so they can be the person that they've committed themselves to being. Through this work, you can get there and be there. And it starts stepping into this ceremony. Many men have heard me say this many times on our past weekends, and I say it on every weekend. My intention for me, Uncle, is when I step into that world, my want is to become the hollow tube, the hollow reed that the breath of God blows through. I'm stepping into ceremony. I'm stepping into something that's far beyond my understanding and my comprehension. Part of my learning and what I've been reflected back in wisdom and stepping into that is letting go of the outcome, letting go that I am doing anything, that it's actually me doing the thing. That puts my ego down. So part of this work is learning our ego and where we need to be seen as the guy. And I'm going to do this big, huge process for this bro. And I know where he needs to go. I know what he really needs. I'm going to hit this big, beautiful home run for this bro. And it's going to be this amazing thing.
There's a saying we have in the work, which is you can only take a man as deep as you've been or as deep as you're willing to go.
100%.
And so a lot of the work that we're going to be doing at Relational Training is actually getting in the center.
Yeah.
A big part of facilitation is actually being facilitated and understanding what it feels like to be on the other side. And so for many of the brothers who are in LT1 or who have come through Sacred Sons experiences, this is a deep dive.
100%.
To really go to the depths of your own wounds and shadows like you were describing. What are some of the key tools, practices, processes that we're going to be training in?
First of all, you're going to learn some skills, you're going to learn some tools, and you're going to learn some processes. You may think you know all there is to know about, let's just say, a gauntlet, but there's about 5, 6, 7 ways to do that, maybe even more. We're going to be dealing in the 4 masculine basic quadrants archetypes. There are processes that lead into those. So if you understand yourself, what archetype you usually live in, And if you can see the archetype that's in the circle and the archetype that the man is living in right now, that already gives you a key into the world of possibilities where you might be able to go with this particular brother or sister had you be working with a sister. But in this weekend, obviously, we're just going to be working with the brothers. So we're going to be giving you lots of processes. We're going to give you lots of freedom to step out and lead with feedback. And you're going to be getting feedback real time, and you're going to be getting feedback at the end of the process, which I hope that you will take in and learn and be able to incorporate these little nuggets that you're going to be getting from Adam and myself to be able to then approach the next one with a little bit more depth, maybe a little bit more consciousness, a little bit more awareness about yourself and your impact on the person working. Typically in this work, we work one-on-one. That's been the way it's been done for a long time. What I've been wanting and what we do in the Sacred Sons and what I keep incorporating more and more is, and what I've seen you do as well, Adam, is facilitating the collective. And my number one teacher talked about this 30 years ago, when people have been doing this for a long time, is to make the transition to, oh, well, I have a man, let's just say for an example, experiencing anger right now. If I'm standing far enough away from the man, I can actually see the circle, and I can see 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 men who are also embodying, quote unquote, the energy of anger right now. Well, if you're skilled enough, and what I want you to be is skilled enough, is to be able to scoop those men up into the process as well. And now we have a collective experience that you can facilitate so that everybody now has this cathartic, beautiful anger piece that they go through. It's not about man on man. Sometimes it is. But if you're watching, there's a whole thing happening in the dynamic. That's what I want.
The group facilitation is key. It is the future of this work.
For sure.
And the feedback is so important, because many times we're on EMXs, maybe you've had a chance to support or step in, but are you really getting real-time feedback to let you know where you are? I like to emphasize, this is where you get to deepen into your presence.
Yep.
This is where you get to deepen into your own awareness and your capacity.
Yes.
And this goes for all of us. We all have limitations. We all have edges in this work, what I'm comfortable leading a man to. And so really, like, being able to expand that capacity with the feedback is so powerful.
I have to have enough awareness to know that I'm not always the right tool for the job. That's what also makes me a very safe facilitator. It ain't always about me. Somebody else in the room, actually, I need to hand the baton to. I can start it, and maybe actually it's now I'm going to hand the baton to Adam to go the next 3 feet, and then he's going to hand the baton to somebody else to close it up. That's actually what makes a really, really good facilitator, is to know your part in the play. Your part in the play might just be one freaking little question, and that's it.
Right.
Letting go of the ego that you've got to be the one to do it all. What's most important, if you're a musician, is the song, not the player. It's the song. Am I serving the song? Am I serving the man's song right now? And what part am I playing in that? And my part might be to have no part whatsoever.
Right. We have a whole section of the training called Pass the Ball. So yes. we get to learn the art of making good passes to one another. And if you've been in Sacred Sun circles, as all of you have, you've seen what that looks like in real time for us to pass the facilitation ball
100%.
around.
100%.
I want to say this, brothers, the world needs embodied men.
Oh, yes.
This has been the mission all along.
Yeah.
And more so, we need men who are trained. We need men on our team, within our leadership community, who know how to lead charge clearings, who know how to run effective accountability processes, who know how to go to one another for feedback. If we can't do it here, how will we ever do it out there? And so this is the invitation from us and from Sacred Sons, is get in. Now is the time. We want you trained. We want your skills to be honed. And also, there's an element of your own uniqueness that we also are encouraging. This is not for you to become Adam, become Uncle. This is a chance for you to really explore your style of
Mhm.
facilitation with the core foundational training.
Yes. The world needs initiated, grounded men of integrity. This is part of your pathway in becoming that man. What we saw at C9, the sister said over and over again, we want men of integrity. We want men we can trust. And they saw that through the experience. Oh, we can trust these sacred sons, guys. We didn't know we could trust men. We can trust these men. So there's a beautiful invitation here for you to step into a deeper part of yourself, a deeper part of how you show up in the world, and to hone the skills you need to be the best person that you can possibly be. While, yes, this is about facilitating others, and that's what the core of this is, it's really about you getting to know you, how you show up, and how you can show up to be the man you were born to be. So please join us on this training. I'm looking forward to having you there. I know Adam is as well. We want to see you there. The world needs you right now more than ever. So let's show up and show them what we've got.
Last thing, who is this training for? This is for men at all levels. If you have began or have completed LT1, if you're LT2, if you've been leading us with us for 6 years, you're invited. We have taken upon this relational training as something we will be continually offering throughout the
Sure.
years so that we stay sharp.